in 3, 2. Hi, and welcome to Ferret's Stash. I'm the ferret, and this is my stash. And today, we are going to be making 2-ply flannel towels. Why 2-ply? Because messes are messy, and if you know, you know. So what this is a 14 by 7-inch sheet that I have bound all the way around.
Hello all! Editing Ferret here. I'm horrifically washed out, but that's okay. I made a mistake. It's not 14 by 7 or 13 by 7 or 13 by 8 or whatever I've said previously. The measurement for these is 13 by 11. So 13 by 11. I'll make note of it in the captions, but it is 13 by 11. Thank you all. Back to your regularly scheduled program.
3, 2, 1. Really easy to make, really easy to do. Now, for those of you who might be in a fabric crunch, some of what I will be working with today is old flannel blankies. If you can get a flannel sheet from the junk shop, even better. We're not making these in order to be pretty. We're making them in order to function and to replace our paper towels. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we will be taking our flannel blankets and cutting them into our 14 by 7 sheets. All right, so this is a 45 by 45 inch sheet. In order to get what we want, we are going to have to measure out 14 by 7. And this hasn't been used since my kids were small, so it doesn't matter. I know it's clean. It's just been sitting in the closet for ever and a day. Now, if you don't like the size 14 by 7, don't use 14 by 7. Make it the size that you want to make it. I like 14 by 7 because it's a standard paper size for most paper towels. Okay, this is not working. Ah! All right, for this batch, I'm going to make them 13.5 because that's what I have. Always work with what you got. The least amount of waste is our goal. First, we're going to be using the baby blanket, and this measures approximately 13.5 inches. So, all right. So this is a 44 by 44 receiving blanket that I haven't used since the kids were little. This particular set of towels, once I am done with them, should be approximately 13 inches wide. I'm going to cut them to 7 inches long. And now I need to grab my scissors. And a ruler without knocking out the light. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, this is a 44 by 44 inch blanket, approximately. Now, once I am done, it'll be the blanket, the towels will be approximately 13 inches in length. What first I'm going to do is trim off about 2 inches so that we don't have this corner here. Now, this can be easily achieved by a rotary cutter, but on the off chance you don't have a rotary cutter, use a ruler, any ruler. Mark out your line, and then cut it with your scissors. Now, don't throw this piece away because we're going to use it on a later project. Now we're going to measure 7 inches in width. So I'm going to turn this 90 degrees. Where's my old towel? We'll just use the old towel and place it on top. All right. By using the existent towel, we have measured it. Oh, 11 inches. I lied. So these are 14 by 11 inches in size. Always measure twice, ladies. Always measure twice. And again, straight down. And cut. Before we get into our next thing, we're going to cut the folds. And now we're ready for sewing. Which means now I gotta cut the rest of this. If you have paper towels at home, use your paper towel as a general sizing for your paperless towels, since those are the sizes that you're used to using. Now, I get 9 out of a single receiving blanket. And I'll also show you how to cut this out of straight cloth. Ignore the mess in the corner! Alright, now that I've gotten that out of my system. Alright, now, if you do have yardage, or if you are working with a sheet, for yardage specifically, what I like to do, specifically for this project, and because of its size. Now, most flannel yardage that you would buy at the big green fabric shop is 44 inches in width. So what we're going to do is we are going to take that fabric and turn it into thirds. Why do I do this to myself? Once we have this folded into thirds, we can therefore take our existing paper towel, place it down, and you'll notice that by doing it in thirds, it's almost the same size. Now, I don't have paper towels, so I'm using the existing towels that I have. Now, for this, you can either mark it or simply cut a straight line. And again, cut the folded edges. Now, one thing about flannel is that when you fold it this way, make sure it is the same fold on the top as it is on the bottom in order for the fabric to come out straight. Now, keep in mind, this isn't a dress, this isn't a ball gown, this isn't a shirt, this isn't, you know, your grandson's teddy bear. These are just towels. They're allowed to be a little messy, and they're a perfect first-time project. If you want to be really smart about it, cut your two colors at the same time. Just for color contrast, I think the purple will be great underneath the butterflies. And again, make sure everything is laying flat. Have your template set for set your template out, mark up the chalk, cut it with your scissors. Now I can pause the video because no one wants to watch me cut out all of this fabric. It's movie magic! Now that you have an entire stack of what looks like paper towels, or the size of paper towels I should say, what we're going to do is separate them and put our color A with our color B. Corner to corner, edge to edge. And if you get a little left over, that's okay. We can trim that off. What we're going to be doing is setting it through our sewing machine on a close zigzag stitch. Now, what I mean by a close zigzag stitch, let me try not talking away from myself because I'm supposed to be talking to you guys, not my sewing machine. Okay. 3, 2, 1. What I mean, okay, you screw up this much, lubricate your brains. Brains! Brain lubrication. Now that you have an entire stack of rectangles, we're going to take each of those rectangles and put our alternate with our primary, back to back. So negative side to negative side. Once we've got them back to back, we're going to put them through the sewing machine on the zigzag stitch. And by zigzag, I mean a tight zigzag. You want to change your stitch length to about a 2. What do I mean by a 2? I mean we go over and we change our stitch length to a 2. If you don't know how to do that, don't worry about it. Just put your machine on a zigzag stitch and you'll be fine. Now to change camera angles again. Ducky out of the way. Okay. Now, zigzag. So the length of your stitch should be a 2. The width of your stitch should be a 5. Scratch that, reserve it. Blah, 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 blah. You want to start just a little bit in, go back, and go forward again. Now, let me zoom in. You'll notice the needle is swinging off your fabric. So we are doing an overlock stitch off the fabric. Pick it up and repeat. for somehow you've messed up and your cut didn't come out even, you have this. Just trim along the line. Remember, these are to clean up messes, and we're not worried about perfect. We're worried about functional. Okay, now to do that again at a different angle so you can see better. Okay. All right, I'm going to need you to turn that light back on. If you could, Liddy. If you could turn that light back on. I'm trying from a different angle, and this is going to... Oh, this is going to hurt. Okay. Make sure that your edges line up so that the stitch goes over and catches both. Just like that. Okay. Now that we've gone all 4 sides, rinse, lather, repeat until you have your entire stack. And you're done. These towels are great. They're 100% cotton. They wash, rinse, dry. I use them instead of paper towels in order to be more eco-friendly. My friends use them in order because they're so much prettier in the kitchen than a regular roll of paper towels. Make some seasonal ones. Keep them around. All right, lovelies. Have fun crafting. And remember, be safe. And if you cannot be safe, be deadly. Oh my God, we got all the shots done on one day. In whatever colors you want. And something... Fuck! You are haunted! Oh my God, that take actually worked. Yeah, just what we need, a shot of my double chin. Come on, guys, work with me today.